1968 Topps Football Cards, 12 Most Valuable. After a summer full of baseball cards wrapped in burlap, collectors got a sensory reprieve when cooler temperatures brought them the new batch of 1968 Topps football cards. Featuring clear, crisp photos and just a couple of small design elements. Player and team info in an oval at the bottom of the card, team logo in a circle at the top. The 68s give us a clear look at our gridiron heroes. Indeed, helmets were about as scarce in this issue as Buffalo Bill victories were on the field. And if you're looking for big-name rookie cards, the 1968s probably fall a little short of your expectations, unless you're a Dolphins or a Broncos fan. But if you're good with an avalanche of handsome Hall of Fame shots, well, you're in luck, because you'll find plenty of those in this rundown of the 12 most valuable 1968 Topps football cards. Price source, PSA SMR price guide for PSA 8 cards. Find the link for current pricing in our description. 1968 Topps Bob Griese, rookie card, number 196. It took the Dolphins a few years to get rolling after they selected Bob Griese with their first pick in the 1967 NFL Draft. By 1970, though, Griese and coach Don Shula were starting to click, and the team finished 10-4. And 2 years after that, well, Griese got hurt and only started 5 games during what would turn into the NFL's only perfect season. He was back by season's end, though, taking the offense back from oldster Earl Morrall and leading the Finns to a Super Bowl title. Then he did it again in 1973, though they lost 2 games that year. Griese stayed with Miami through 1980, then moved on to Canton 10 years later. 1968 Topps Joe Namath, number 65. Man, those AFL guys will never match the physicality and talent of the NFL teams. I mean, who do they think they are even daring to take the field against the big boys? Super Bowl. What a farce. And now the young whippersnapper with the Jets guarantees they'll beat the Colts? Horsepucky. The Jets will no more win Super Bowl III than Joe Namath will make it to the Hall of Fame. 1968 Topps Bart Starr, number 1. What do you get for winning 2 Super Bowls in a row? Like, if you're the first 2 Super Bowls ever, and you're the legendary quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. Well, you get card number 1 in the 1968 Topps set, that's what. 1968 Topps Gale Sayers, number 75. Gale Sayers was a great pro running back from the time the Chicago Bears made him the 4th overall pick in the 1965 NFL Draft until he hung up his cleats in 1971. But in 1968, Sayers showed that he was human, maybe even fragile. That season, after running for 856 yards in his first 9 games, Sayers blew out his right knee. He came all the way back in 1969, even as his backfield mate and friend Brian Piccolo was dying, to lead the NFL with 236 carries and 132 yards. It was all too much load, though, and Sayers managed just 4 appearances over the next 2 seasons combined before blowing out. 1968 Topps Dick Butkus, number 127. Sayers' counterpart on the defense side of the ball for those 1960s Bears teams can say the same. But you really never had to worry about Dick Butkus' durability, as the monster of the Midway played in all 14 games in 6 of his first 8 seasons, and in 13 in each of the other 2. Along the way, he picked up 8 Pro Bowl and 5 All-Pro selections, and he was an easy Canton choice in 1979. 1968 Topps Johnny Unitas, number 100. Look, Johnny Unitas may have lost his starting role to Earl Morrall. Why does that sound familiar? But the man is a legend. He'll be back in time for the Super Bowl, and if Earl falters at all, it will be Johnny's game to win. Should be easy enough for the Colts to beat the Jets, right? And then in a few years, Unitas will waltz into the Hall of Fame. And this card that shows him on the verge of a Super Bowl victory will sell well. 1968 Topps Floyd Little rookie card, number 173. The Denver Broncos weren't all that much to look at for most of the 1960s. In fact, they finished just 500 once the entire decade, 1962, and it would take them until 1973 before they put up a winning season. But they did have some stars, and Floyd Little loomed large among them. The 6th overall pick out of Syracuse in 1967, Little started 12 games that fall, splitting time at halfback and as a return man for both punts and kicks. After 11 games in the same role in 1968, Little made just 9 starts in 1969, but rushed for 729 yards. It was more of the same the next 5 years or so, and he peaked with a league-leading 284 carries and 1,133 yards in 1971. For his career, Little ran for 6,300 plus yards, caught 215 passes for 2,418 yards, and secured his Canton bust in 2010. 1968 tops Mike Ditka, number 162. After a star-studded run with the Bears from 1961 to 66, a stretch that saw him nab 5 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pro honors, Ditka found himself with the Eagles in 1967. By that point, all his hits and bangs and bruises that come with being an NFL tight end had started to take a toll on the former Pitt standout. And while he stuck around to land with Dallas in the 1970s and win a Super Bowl, Iron Mike was never quite the same. Of course, his stint as Bears coach included that magical run to the title in 1985 and made him a football god. 1968 tops Jack Kemp, number 149. Kemp's All-Pro career under center with the Buffalo Bills might have been enough for him to crack this list, but when you add in his fame, notoriety from his political career, it's a no-brainer. 1968 tops Ray Nitschke, number 157. Like Starr, Nitschke was a key part of the Packers' victories in Super Bowl I and II, and in countless, not literally, wins in the decade before this card first popped out of wax packs. Icing on the cake? Nitschke's 1978 Hall of Fame induction and his status as a legend at linebacker. 1968 tops Fran Tarkenton, number 161. After spending 6 years in Minnesota with middling results, Tarkenton found himself thrown into the fire of the New York Giants in 1967. This card shows him in that first year with the New York Giants, but of course he would only find real success and 3 Super Bowl berths when he went to, the Minnesota Vikings in 1972. 1968 tops Don Meredith, number 25. Before Craig Morton and Roger Staubach, Don Meredith was the man under center for the Dallas Cowboys. And while he never reached the level of success that Staubach enjoyed, Dandy Don was and is a fan favorite. Like our video? Then like our video and subscribe to our channel. WaxPackGods.com